Hello, welcome back to the channel, to another video on the A3, where today I'm going to do a video that I don't really do a right lot of, and almost sort of review or just tell you a little bit more about some of the parts that I fitted. Today we're going to focus on the iBax Sportline kit that I fitted in one of the more recent videos. And yeah, effectively, the idea behind this was just that every time I fit parts to this car, that's sort of the last that you guys see of it. Obviously I drive the car every day, so I get to experience what's changed, what's new, whether it's better or worse. But yeah, I sort of just put a video out and then just that's it. You'll never hear of it again. So we're going to do a bit of a review, a bit of a drive of the iBax Spring kit. It is now Tuesday. I fitted the kit on Sunday morning and I've probably done between about 50 and 70 miles since then. So it's, I don't know how long it takes to bed in, but it's done a few miles. It's not fresh on, is what I'm trying to say. So what we're going to do is go for a little bit of a drive. I've only driven it to work and back so far, so I haven't really managed to get an open road, go around some corners, see how it feels. So today, amidst the fuel shortage that is going on at the moment, I've got about 12 miles to drive to go get some fuel. So I thought, do you know what? I'll set a few cameras up rolling and get a proper first drive. Thankfully, I've got some really nice roads near me. And yeah, we should be able to see what the handle like. So let's get straight into it. So hopefully this video will just cover a couple of the questions that I've had since the last video when I installed them. Things like, how much are they? Where to get them from? The Sportline kit compared to the Pro kit, so there's two different kits. And then stuff like ride quality compared to the OE, and also, you know, how low it is and stuff like that. Just everything really. So we'll start off with the price, because that's the one that everybody really wants to know. Now, I think I paid about £110 for this kit. I got it from a German parts company called Autodoc. Don't know what this guy's doing. Don't know if you could see that, just literally just parked up in a fence. So yeah, so let's start with the price. £110 from a place called Autodoc. Now, if you've got a German car, you've got older cars, anything like that, you've probably heard of Autodoc. That is pretty much where I get most of my parts from. They're really good. You do have to wait a while for them to come, but you can sort of add stuff to the basket, wait for the offers to come in, and then just buy it whenever you're ready. So I have in fact ordered a few more bits from Autodoc recently, including like lower control arms, front and rear. So I'm going to put those on before I get the car tracked up. I mean, hopefully it should tighten it all up, but that is for another day. The springs are a Sportline kit. Now, depending on what springs you've got in your car, if you've got standard springs, the Sportline kit should drop it 55mm, okay? If you have got an A3 Sport, I believe that is lowered 15mm from factory, and this kit will lower it 40mm. If you've got an S-Line, it's 25mm lowered from factory. This kit will lower it 30mm, and an S3 35mm, so this kit will lower it a further 20mm. So that's the lowering, and to be honest, it has made a noticeable difference. I went from S-Line to the 55mm springs, 30mm difference, and yeah, it has made a bit of a difference, and I'm pretty happy with it. So, first impressions on the sort of quality of ride. Do you know what? I think it's better than the originals. It's really hard to explain, but it seems to be that the first little bit of the spring that you get in sort of everyday driving, you know, when you're just sort of wafting along, just on a normal road like I am now, it seems to be that it is a little bit comfier. I'm going to say it. I think it is a little bit comfier than the standard springs. I'm presuming S-Line springs are slightly more firm than some of the more standard ones, but I would say this kit is definitely comfier just driving normally than the OE kit. It seems to just glide a little bit more. Nothing seems quite as sharp. Yeah, you know when you hit a pothole or something, rather than being a big thud, these springs seem to absorb it quite nicely. And the other thing is, like I said, I haven't done any proper driving. We will get into that in this video, but it doesn't seem to roll round corners at all. I haven't pushed it, I just mean roundabouts and stuff. obviously going to work, but it doesn't seem to roll at all, whereas my old springs did. So it's almost like it's a progressive spring. I mean, somebody might tell me this and might say, yeah, it is a progressive spring. That's exactly what it's meant to do. Well done, numbnuts. But that's what it feels like. It feels like the first bit of the spring is really sort of soft, and then once you ramp it up into a corner or something, it really firms up. If that makes sense, like I said, drop in the comments if I'm right or wrong, but that's how it feels like to somebody who don't really know how the springs work. I also really want to know what other people think to their springs. I know you can get the H&R kit, you can get coilovers, you can get all sorts of stuff, so let me know in the comments what you've got or what you want to get and what you think of it, basically, because I am intrigued. I bought this one based off reviews, but I'm well aware that you can't trust reviews for everything, so let me know in the comments. And if you've got any questions about it that I don't cover in this video, I will try and answer those too. So for now, I'm coming up to some traffic lights, so I'll cut back to you when we're on a little bit of open road and we can start to see what these springs are like in the corners. Okay, so we are turning on to some of the better roads near me. They're quite wide, they are back roads, but they're all obviously national speed limit, which is good, and wide enough so that you can pass something if it comes the other way. So I'm going to get into it and I'm going to see how these springs fare around corners. See if, you know, there's any body roll, what they feel like in the bumps and stuff like that. I do think they're comfier so far, but let's see. The other thing to note is that obviously with this being an S-line, not only do you get the lower springs, I think you also do get shortened dampers, and I have read a few things that say that you might not be able to drop your car 55mm on standard dampers. Obviously, if you're only dropping it 30 with this kit, then your standard dampers might be all right, because I do believe they are shorter from factory. But do you know what? This car's like 11 years old. I don't even know if the right dampers are on it. They're definitely not Audi. They're not Bilstein or anything like that. They're just dampers I've never really heard of. So we shall see. But first impressions, onto a back road, and yeah, you can definitely tell that it is a little bit firmer, but I do still think that it's comfier. I'm fairly certain on that. It just seems to float a little bit more. Now, I don't know if that's because the car is trying to stay flat and, you know, the wheels are just moving themselves, whereas before, because it is a little bit softer, the whole car moved. I don't really know, but it does feel fairly planted. Yeah, I don't know the science behind it, but it is almost like before when you're sort of going along on the standard springs, the car seemed a bit sort of like wallowy. Now it seems like the car is just staying absolutely flat, and it's obviously the wheels are just moving, doing whatever they need to do. But so far, so good. It's a bit strange that though, how it can feel. I don't understand how it feels firmer but comfier. I don't really get how that's happened, to be honest. But yeah, going around corners, it's just staying completely flat, which is good, to be honest. I like that. It doesn't feel like there's any body roll at all. I know you can upgrade sort of anti-roll bars and stuff like that to obviously sort it out further, but so far, I'm fairly impressed with these springs for, you know, they're under 150 quid. I think, what's the set of budget coilovers, you know, 200, 300? He's off. Oh, I do just wish this car had a little bit more power. It's all right though, to be fair. So, we're getting down on some nicer roads. This should be the real sort of test here. Definitely firmer when you're going a little bit faster, up to a speed limit now, going 60 down a 60 road, but you can definitely feel it is a little bit firmer. But yeah, it just feels like when you go around the corner there's nothing. It just doesn't seem to roll at all. I'd be really interested to know how much difference sort of an upgraded anti-roll bar makes, to be honest. Here we go, a bit sharper. Oh, there's a little bit of roll, there is a little bit, but so much less than before, so much less. Oh, it does make it fun to drive though. It is really sort of up to the fun factor. You feel like you can just sort of chuck it into corners now without it sort of don't know, it's made it more predictable, I would say. Predictable is probably the word I'm going to go for. You just, don't know. I feel like a lot of the time, body roll when you go around a corner almost makes you feel like you're losing grip or something, or you're going too fast or something along those lines. It's not a nice feeling, is body roll. Lauren has said similar in her rub. She feels like that rolls way too much, and it does, to be honest. She feels like it's top heavy. So I said to her, you know, if you get some springs just like this kit or whatever you can get for an up GTI, it will get rid of some of the body roll. So hopefully we'll get that little up GTI lowered very shortly too. But yeah, it's definitely not a bad drive to the petrol station. I'm enjoying it. I feel like this is, apart from tyres is always going to be the sort of best bang for buck modification you can ever do, is a good set of tyres. I switched from Toyo Proxies on this to Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, and the difference is unbelievable. It's just like, you know, even in like the rain or bad conditions or whatnot, these tyres do seem to grip up really well, especially once you sort of warm them up a bit. So, but after that, do you know what? I think springs are up there because they are a lot cheaper than tyres. What do you think? What is the best modification you could do for 150 quid? Surely it's got to be springs. I don't see what else it could be. You can't even get anything else for 150 quid. You might be able to get an intake kit, which without a sort of map or anything like that isn't going to do anything. It'll just sound a bit nicer. Definitely can't get an exhaust for 150 quid. Would an anti-roll bar be better than springs? I'm not sure. So I also don't know how much they cost. No, we'll raise it to £200. So what is the best sub £200 modification you can do to your car? I'm going to vote springs, I think, but I am definitely interested in what other people have to say about that. So yeah, overall, really happy with my purchase. Obviously, I fitted them myself, so there was no labour cost, but I can't imagine it'll cost that much at a garage either way. So I still think it's a really good modification to suit your car. Obviously, the springs from this fit like a Mark 5 Golf and all that sort of stuff, but they're all roughly the same price, about 150, 160 quid, unless you get them on a bit of a deal. But yeah, the comfort, obviously the car is lower. Visually, it looks much better. You'll have seen in the last video, I did a bit of a walk around at the end after fitting them, and the car does look much better, just that little bit lower. It's surprising how much difference it makes. The comfort overall, I would say, is better. The handling is way better. The lack of body roll, it just feels planted. I know coilovers would be even better, but for a daily car, I don't know if it's worth my money to get a set of coilovers on it, but we will see in the future. So yeah, overall, cracking modification for your car. Would highly recommend, and yeah, hopefully you'll be able to fit them yourself, because I've done a video on how to fit them, so go check that video. I hope this has helped you if you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, not knowing whether to get springs or not. I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully you go check out some of the other videos as well. So make sure you are subscribed, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below your best sub £200 modification, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.